This year, we will celebrate the 117th anniversary of the erection of the Frederick Douglass Monument. Frederick Douglass is a great American leader who fought tirelessly for the abolition of slavery and for an end to racial discrimination. He helped to shape the climate of public opinion that led to the ratification of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution, which were created in large measure to protect the freedom, citizenship, and voting rights of African Americans. Frederick Douglass, born in 1807 and died in 1895, was born a slave in eastern Maryland. Having escaped slavery in 1838, he took up residence in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and became a leading voice for the abolitionist movement. In 1841, he began to lecture against slavery and became a famous orator. In 1848, he published a newspaper, the North Star, in Rochester, where he spent 26 years of his life. At the outbreak of the Civil War, he urged the employment of colored troops and helped organize them. He was an active agent of the Underground Railroad, and his home, still standing on Alexander Street, was a refuge and a way station for runaway slaves seeking safety and freedom in Canada. During the administration of Benjamin Harrison, Mr. Douglass was appointed U.S. Minister to Haiti. After his death in 1895, his body was interred in Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester. The accomplishments of Frederick Douglass are memorialized in the statue erected in his likeness. It is the first of its kind in the country to memorialize an African American. John W. Thompson, a young local African American, led the drive for the Frederick Douglass Monument. In the early 1890s, Thompson began a campaign to erect a statue honoring African American soldiers who fought in the Civil War. When Frederick Douglass died in 1895, Thompson changed his focus and began the effort to erect a Rochester monument to the famed abolitionist, who had lived in Rochester for 25 years. Tapping a variety of sources, including the government of Haiti, he was able to fund a monument placed in downtown Rochester that was dedicated in 1899 at a ceremony attended by 10,000 people. Frederick Douglass's monument, now located in Highland Park, was originally erected in Rochester on June 9, 1899 at St. Paul Street and Central Avenue. 10,000 people, including Theodore Roosevelt, then the governor of New York State, were on hand for the original dedication of the statue. Created by Stanley Edwards, the 8-foot bronze image of Douglass stands on a 9-foot-high pedestal. Serene and majestic, the great orator is shown as speaking in Rochester in 1863, not long after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Inscriptions from Douglass's speeches adorn the base of the monument. Here are some interesting facts about Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. Serving as the U.S. Minister to Haiti, he was the first African-American citizen to hold a high U.S. government rank. During the winter of 1855 to 1856, he covered 5,000 miles and gave 70 speeches. Douglass's sons, Charles and Lewis, were the first two colored recruits to join the 54th Massachusetts Infantry during the Civil War. Son Frederick worked as a recruiter. Douglass met with President Abraham Lincoln 3 times. Frederick Douglass lived in Rochester for 26 years, longer than anywhere else he had lived in his whole entire life. We hope that every student and family in the Rochester community will visit this monument in Highland Park and take time to learn more about the legacy of Frederick Douglass, a great African American leader and abolitionist.